Hello. I don't know what that wave was. Welcome back to Consumed by Stars. Today I thought we could get a little bit cozy, hence the vanilla scented candle to my right. Forgot right and left for a minute. I am going to be reading a few poems from my poetry collection, Yellow and Blue, which came out a couple months ago. So put on your favorite pajamas, a robe, a t-shirt with one of your favorite musicians on it. Noah Kahan, if you see this, I love you. I just momentarily tried to think of a name for this poetry reading because it will most certainly become a series of poetry readings, but I came up with nothing. So I'm thinking just poetry in the writing nook or the book nook. My friend Sawyer said that I should come up with a name for my little book writing nook, but I can't think of a name for that either, even though I'm a writer. This is supposed to be my job, but I think it's because book nook and writing nook are already in normal vocabulary, so it's not something original, and I want something that is original and kind of fun and kind of me, and we'll come up with something. Will being me, because about 2 people watch these videos. But all right, get cozy, close your eyes, get out a pillow, and don't fall asleep, but listen to me read my poetry. Here we go. Tonight, I thought I would start with a fan favorite. Fan meaning friends and fam favorite, which is called I Want to Fall in Love. And this is my only so-called love poem of the collection because I have never been in love. And I've written many romances and have witnessed romances and watched romances, and I have never been one of the couple. One in the couple, you know what I mean. So this is my ode to the love I've never had yet, but how I imagine love might feel. I want to fall in love because I'm 23 and have never tasted it. And I imagine it is golden and sweet, like the chocolate chip pancakes Mom makes me on my birthday, or did. And that's why, too, I'm old enough to pile up dusty boxes of when I used to, growing up, but I've never been in love. And I imagine it is torment, or a torrent of sensation without words, and colors that do not exist outside of pressed lips and naked slow dances. And I imagine it feels like laughing as if I've never known fear, and walking barefoot on lakeside rocks that the sun has licked, until I laugh again and jump off. And I imagine it's love when the leap is not the exhilaration, the water is. That's the end of that one. One recurring theme throughout my writing is nostalgia, particularly that which stems from thinking of youth and my childhood and what I did back then and how I felt back then and who I was. And this produces a lot of my brighter and darker poems. Brighter because a lot of the memories are fond ones. Darker because the memories obviously age with time. They age as I age, so they become a little less clear. And that has always troubled me. I've always been someone who hates when I can't remember exactly how a scene in my life went, and the colors get a little muted, which is actually kind of a line from a poem I wrote. So I think this is an example of a more happy, nostalgic childhood poem, but I have plenty of memory poems that are quite grim. Here we go. Guess I'm a grown-up now. I don't remember when I stopped shouting, "Come tuck me in," from my childhood bed. I would be snuggled up under a great puff of purple, frizzy hair and sleepy eyes peeking out, awaiting mom and dad hugs and love you, good night, sleep tight, don't let the bedbugs bite. I didn't think the last line strange until we stopped saying it, our version of a prayer. Sometimes I'd hold dad hostage with my stubby kid arms. Sometimes mom would pile on top. I'd always smile and complain I was being squashed, but I relished in it. I don't remember when I opted to make my own breakfast, a very adult bowl of oatmeal, forgetting mom's dripping egg sandwiches and iced cinnamon rolls, or when I stopped wearing bright cartoon animal shirts and long pink skirts and started wearing jeans and shaving my legs. I remember when mom used to drive me to school playing Tracy Chapman and Nora Jones. She was the Tooth Fairy and the Easter Bunny and the best Santa Claus. I still put out cookies, though I know she's the one leaving crumbs in the milk. And when Dad used to tweeze out stubborn splinters, battle wounds from running barefoot on the old porch outside, the same porch where my brother and I would build towel forts and gorge ourselves on 2-bite brownies and goldfish. On those afternoons, the whole world was in our backyard. A floor of yellow weeds that I thought were flowers, and a ceiling of sky. I had a cold last week, alone in my dorm room. I tucked myself into bed, made my own ginger tea. I can't mark a date on my calendar for when I grew up. It happened like winter does. Suddenly the leaves and colors are gone before fall even knows it's ended. This next poem is one that no one really liked but me. But I still stand by it. I was in a zone when I was writing this. I've said before in various lives and things that I am crazy inspired by train rides. I enter this different realm of thought and being and feel like I have a new voice inside of me almost coming out, and my writing always is more powerful and bam when I'm writing it on a train. And some of my best pieces of poetry and pieces of prose have come from long train rides from Mass usually to New York or vice versa. So this particular one was written on the train ride to New York City, and it was at sunset, and I was staring out the window watching the sunset, and it just felt like the colors of the night were changing so rapidly. It felt really magical at the time, and this was trying to convey how quickly it all was happening. And I think my wording was a little less straightforward than it usually was, so people maybe were confused at what I was trying to convey, but I like it and I know what it means. It felt like a solid, evocative poem to me. So if it doesn't work for anyone else, that's okay. The colors change quickly. How is it that I can stare down the eye of the setting, saturated orb, watch it sink prickly black-branched trees like sea creatures of so many legs, and bulging water towers in red, to suddenly find the sky a pale purple, rust just a bottom-fed fringe. Now blue again, the night's hue moodier. Here is a little quickie. I went outside in my yard during quarantine a couple of months ago, and I was sitting in the grass and saw a leaf, a kind of dying, curled up, crinkly leaf, and I had to immediately write a poem because that is what the great outdoors does to me. It doesn't let me just sit and enjoy it. It forces me to produce some sort of creative work. So here it is. Bon appetit. brown crisps of leaves folded like French pastries, filled with air, no kneading needed, the Detrivore's dessert served sun-baked over homegrown bluets, crunchy acorn caps to garnish. I told you that was short. So that was a micropoem of mine. I love the itty-bitty micropoems, but I do prefer my more prose poems that are the big blocks, because I can basically just write prose and call it a poem because it's poetic, which is great. So that fits my genre more. I'll read one more poem, a short one. And this one is about college because those were, as they say, some of the best 4 years of my life. And I felt the most alive I've ever felt during those 4 years. And not in a gloomy way, as if everything's downhill, but I do know that that was a very specific and once in a lifetime, contained in those years experience. And I will always look back fondly on college and be so grateful for all of the close friendships I made there that will last a lifetime. You betcha. I made the nicest friends during college because kindness is number one for me. This isn't becoming a kindness rant, but I have very thoughtful and generous and just fun and goofy and silly and nerdy friends, and that's what I look for. So I've never been one to experience a lot of drama in friendships because I surround myself with people that just don't partake in that, which has been really rewarding in life to know that I have this support system. I don't know why I'm going off, but love you, friends. You're the best. For example, I just went to check the mail today and I had 2 different letters from 2 different friends, and then another one from a friend and from my grandma. I mean, my friend Dana and my friend Shannon each sent me 2 letters, and then my friend Natasha sent me one and Grammy. But that was just opening a letter in the mail is one of my all-time favorite moments. I get so giddy. So write people letters. If you're thinking about someone, write them a letter instead of texting them. Sometimes that can be a lot more meaningful. Scratch that. All the time, that can be meaningful, more meaningful, whatever. Rambling. Okay, moving on. College is where you grew up, but it's also where you were the most youthful, explosive, kissing the sky on the first snowfall, stamping your ecstasy onto the green at sunset, and tossing burning leaves up, knowing soon they'll fall, but delighting in the way they tip and turn and take in the light before settling. Because you should enjoy college. It'll be quick, but throw up all those leaves. Don't throw them up, like toss them into the air. Just take all the opportunities you can and hang out with your friends as much as possible. It's okay to stay in your dorm room and chill by yourself sometimes. I did that plenty, but don't miss out on all of the magic that you can experience during college. That's super cheesy. I love college. I miss college, but it's fine. So that was from Yellow and Blue. You can get it on Amazon. During 2020, all of the profits will be split evenly, going to No Kid Hungry and The Conscious Kid. And you can read about them online, or on my Instagram, I have information about them in some lives I did for them. But yeah, so during 2020, if you buy it on Amazon, you're really just donating to charity. Yeah. Thank you for listening. I think since 5 is my lucky number, I will, when I do these poetry readings, read 5 poems each night when I do it. I'll have a candle out. Ooh, candle and 5. What could I do with those? Wait, hang on. I'm going to do some brainstorming and come back. I've got it. This might be really dumb, but I think I'm going to call this poetry series 5 Flames because each poem is relatively short and bright with its own message. So each one is a flame shining its message into the darkness. Some of them are dark, so it's just shining darkness into the darkness, but whatever. And then I'll read 5 each time. So 5 Flames. So thanks for joining me. We'll see if that name sticks. It's a spur of the moment name decision. So I should have read like this, like I'm one of those creepy storytellers. So thank you for joining me at Five Flames Poetry Reading. Join me again next week if I do this every week. Maybe it'll be every 2 weeks. Every fortnight. I don't know. All right. I just thought of an idea. Instead of doing a high five with the mug cheers scenario for the outro, I'm going to blow out this candle and everything's going to suddenly go dark. Totally never been done before, ever. This is completely original. In all seriousness, thank you so much to whoever watched this. I hope that you enjoyed my poetry. If you have any questions or requests, let me know. As of now, I have 6 subscribers, so I don't think there are going to be any questions. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time on Consumed by Stars.